Hello again, everyone. So in this lecture, we are going to explore one of the most transformative frontiers in modern healthcare, the nurse-led entrepreneurship. So you see, as I have mentioned in my previous lecture, for generations now, we nurses have been viewed almost exclusively as clinical employees within the traditional hospital setting. However, as healthcare ecosystem evolve, nurses are increasingly stepping out to become innovators, founders, and business leaders. So in this lecture, we are going to examine the various enterprise types that nurses can launch, the foundational business models that make them viable, and real-world case studies, both locally in the Philippines and globally, that will show how evidence-based practice and sound financial management turn clinical vision into sustainable enterprise. Nurse-led enterprise sit at the intersection of clinical expertise, patient advocacy, and commercial viability. As noted by some researchers and authors, nurses possess an unmatched frontline understanding of healthcare gaps, making us uniquely positioned to innovate. However, turning clinical solutions into sustainable business requires a firm grasp of economic realities, cash flow management, and business model design. By the end of this session, you will not just understand what a nurse enterprise looks like, but you will understand how it operates financially and strategically. We will cover 7 core types of nursing enterprises, unpack 4 business models, and analyze case studies of nurses who have built high-impact healthcare ventures. And to bridge the gap between clinical practice, expertise, and business, you will learn also to view clinical problems through an entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial view. Nurse entrepreneurs do not just sell care. We design delivery mechanisms that optimize resources, improve outcomes, and maintain financial solvency. Let's begin by categorizing the main types of nursing enterprises. Let us first start with home healthcare agency. So with aging populations and the rising hospital costs, home healthcare is expanding rapidly. So we deliver skilled post-acute and palliative care directly in homes, okay, as a key cost constraint driver for overall health system. The second is the wellness and non-communicable disease clinics. Non-communicable diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular conditions account for the majority of global mortality. So a nurse-led wellness clinic focus on continuous management, nutrition, and lifestyle modifications can be a very nice business venture for nurses. Third is training and simulation centers. Nurse educators can turn their pedagogical skills into business by providing specialized clinical skills training, CPR certifications, or exam preparation for nurses transitioning into global workforce market. Home health is highly dependent on operational logistics, nurse routing efficiency, and regulatory compliance, while wellness or NCD clinics leverage the unique nurse-patient therapeutic relationship where nurses excel in patient education and behavioral modification, which are very critical for NCD management. And simulation centers require higher initial capital expenditure or CapEx for equipment such as yung mga mannequins or task trainers, but actually generate recurring revenue through group contracts with schools or hospitals. Okay. Moving out to our next set of enterprise types, we first start with telenursing, which has surged post-pandemic. It removes physical boundaries, allowing nurse entrepreneurs to offer triage, chronic disease tracking, and wellness consultation via mobile platforms. Next is the staffing agencies. This is a nurse-owned staffing agency which bring a distinct advantage. A nurse founder understands clinical unit demands far better than a non-clinical recruiter, enabling better matching and retention. Finally, we have the community-based programs and social enterprises. These ventures prioritize social impact alongside financial sustainability. They tackle community health challenges in underserved areas while building business models that ensure long-term stability without relying solely on grant funding. Telenursing operates with lower fixed costs but requires rigorous attention to data privacy law. Okay, like yung Data Privacy Act of 2012 in the Philippines and the HIPAA in the US. Staffing agency requires a high-volume business model that is focused on managing payroll, credentialing, and fluctuating healthcare demands. Social enterprises blend mission and margin using commercial earned income strategies to subsidize care for low-income population. To build successful venture, you need to align the clinical offering with a clear business model. Okay. Business model is defined as the logical structure for how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. Okay? Under service-based, here you sell professional time and clinical skills. Under product-based, you design, you manufacture, or license a physical product or software solution, scaling revenue beyond the hours of your physical work. Hybrid model is where you combine services with products or software subscription. For example, a wellness clinic that also sells custom nutritional supplement or RPM subscription. Social enterprise model is where you measure success using a double bottom line financial sustainability alongside measurable health impact in the community. Okay. Service models face scaling limits because revenue is tied to human labor like hours work. To grow, you must hire more staff. Product and software models offer higher scalable leverage. Developing a physical device or digital application incurs fixed initial development costs, but unit margins improve significantly when it comes to volume. Okay. Nurse entrepreneurs who adopt hybrid models achieve greater financial resilience by diversifying revenue streams. Okay, let me quote Dr. Susan Lowley in Economics and Financial Management for Nurses, where she said clinical excellence without financial stewardship leads to unsustainable mission. So when starting an enterprise, you must distinguish between capital expenditure, the upfront money needed to buy equipment or build a facility, and operational expenses, the continuous cash requirement to keep light on and pay your staff. Understanding your break-even point is also critical. How many home care visits or clinic consultations must your team conduct every month just to cover rent, salaries, and supplies before you turn a single peso or dollar of profit. Nurse innovators frequently underestimate working capital requirements. Here, we are going to stress the importance of monitoring cash flow over simple accrual accounting profitability. An enterprise can be profitable on paper but fail because cash is tied up in uncontrolled insurance claims or delayed client payments. The best nursing innovations are grounded in evidence-based practice or EBP. Unlike traditional businesses that might build a product and search for a market, nurse entrepreneurs start with verified clinical problems. So you are going to observe a recurring gap in practice. For example, high catheter association infection rates or poor post-discharge follow-up. So here, you can design a solution supported by research evidence. Then, you pilot test that solution, refine the delivery model, and scale it into a commercial enterprise. Applying evidence-based practice to business minimizes financial risk. By validating that a nursing intervention achieves superior clinical outcomes before scaling, the nurse entrepreneur builds a value proposition that directly appeals to payers, corporate clients, and patients who want verified quality. Let's review real-world global examples. Internationally, nurse-led primary care clinics have reshaped primary health delivery. By utilizing advanced practice registered nurses, these clinics manage chronic conditions at lower cost than traditional physician-led outpatient departments while achieving equal or higher patient satisfaction scores. According to the documented record of some authors and researchers, these models succeed because they align clinical effectiveness with payer priorities, reducing hospital admissions and controlling overall care costs. Global case studies show that regulatory scope of practice laws dictate business model design. So in jurisdictions with full practice authority, nurses establish independent clinical practices. Where scope of practice is restricted, nurse entrepreneurs often form collaborative practice models or pivot toward wellness, training, and healthcare software solutions. Now, I have presented here two examples of case. The case one is Sarah Di Davide and caregiver platforms in USA. Okay? So, ang model nila that they use is the tech-enabled service platform. So, what they do is they are focused on streamlining community-based home care navigation and connecting qualified nurse with complex home care patients. So, another case is a nurse-led community health centers. This was done in Europe and North America. They model the hybrid social enterprise. What is their core innovation? They are independent nurse practitioner-led primary care clinics that reduce emergency room utilization and lower overall system cost. Okay. Looking closer to home in the Philippines, nurse entrepreneurship is also rapidly evolving. We see successful nurse-led home health ventures bridging the gap between hospital discharge and recovery, especially for elderly patients and chronic stroke cases. With the passage of the Universal Healthcare or the Universal Healthcare Act RA 1122-3, there is a structural push toward primary care and preventive health. Nurse-led community clinics and health stations are positioned to serve as primary care providers within healthcare provider networks. However, Philippine nurse entrepreneurs face unique economic hurdles. High out-of-pocket health expenditure by patients and limited access to initial venture funding is becoming the issue. Okay. In the Philippines, compliance with the Philippine Nursing Act or RA 9173, Department of Health Licensing and local government unit permits is necessary. Unlike Western markets with insurance reimbursement structure, here in the Philippines, healthcare enterprises often rely heavily on cash out-of-pocket models or corporate business-to-business or B2B contracts. Example nito is providing wellness services to BPO companies. When deciding which enterprise models to build, consider this comparative grid. If you have limited starting capital, a home care or telenursing service may offer a lower barrier to entry compared to building a simulation center which demands high initial capital expenditure. However, home care requires managing logistics, scheduling, and decentralized quality control. So match your enterprise selection with your capital capacity, your market demand, and your risk tolerance. Risk management varies by model type. Service models carry clinical malpractice and operational liability risk. Technology models carry data breach and regulatory compliance risk. Financial planning must incorporate appropriate insurance, such as professional liability or general commercial liability, as part of baseline operating expenses. Okay, so I want you to take a good look at the comparative matrix so that you can choose the right enterprise model based on your expertise and based on your capacity. Now, how do you move from an idea to an operational enterprise? So you follow a structured four-phase launch strategy. First, validate the problem. Never or do not build a business based on assumption. Talk to your patients, talk to the families or healthcare institutions to confirm the pain point. Next, build your financial model. Calculate your fixed and variable cost to establish your break-even point. And third, secure regulatory compliance. Ensure that all legal, licensing, and professional scope standards are met. And lastly, execute a pilot launch. Measure key performance metrics, refine your operations, and as well as your scale. The iterative feedback loop is critical. Nurse entrepreneurs should apply quality improvement methodologies such as yung mga Plan to Do Study Act or the Lean Startup frameworks. This is used to refine both clinical pathways and business process during the pilot phase. Okay. So to summarize our discussion today, nurses are no longer just care providers within organizations. We are enterprise creators. Whether we choose to launch a home healthcare business, a digital telenursing platform, or a social enterprise, remember that we are competitive, or that we are on competitive advantage, which lies in our clinical insight backed by evidence. However, clinical insight alone is not enough. So we need to pair it with financial stewardship, clear business model, and strategic execution that turns clinical vision into sustainable venture reality. So that concludes our discussion for today. Again, thank you very much for listening.